Alright, well, I'm headed out to hunt whitetails, mountain whitetails. Got a few days off here and just heading up the mountain. Gonna hike into a spot, do a little bit of rattling. I normally like to use a grunt tube and some other calls, but I cannot find it, so just gonna head out and see what I can find. I'm hunting what I like to call big mountain whitetails. Just a general unit, public land, lots of country to cover. It's kind of similar to hunting whitetails anywhere, but just on a much larger scale. The densities aren't super high here, but there are a few good bucks. So I'm not going to be super picky. Got a couple days to hunt in between guiding and other stuff. So I'm going to try a little bit of rattling, hiking, glassing, kind of all the tactics. Trying to mix it up and hopefully turn up a mature buck. Unfortunately, the weather is not great for deer hunting. It's just been unseasonably warm. Not a lot of snow to push them out of the higher parts of the mountain. There is some snow up high, but I'm just going to start kind of working my way up the mountain really, and put on some miles. Hopefully turn up a good buck. Did a lot of extra scouting this season and just found pockets of does. And pre-season, I didn't really see many bucks, but I did find a lot of pockets of does. And then I've continually kind of checked those pockets and they've kind of remained on their patterns. So I'm going to plan on today just hitting where those doe pockets are and hope that maybe there's some cruising bucks met up. You know, they should be rutting. I've kind of noticed not a lot of rut activity. I saw, over the past week, seen a few deer starting to get into that rut mode. It seems like the rut's hitting late this year. But you got to do what you can do, and finding does, finding deer is the name of the game in country where the deer are very spread out and the densities are really low. So I'm kind of using those doe pockets as live bait, hoping that it attracts what I'm looking for. A big, rutted up buck. Warmed up quite a bit. Just gonna kind of still hunt my way along this old logging road. And then get to some bandages, glass, and potentially do some calling. That's the plan now. One horn buck, little guy. It's only about 50 yards away. Pass on it. Kind of cool though. So I'm gonna drop back down and just work my way down some of these ridges. Hopefully be able to still hunt my way into some action tonight. And then just kind of keep moving and doing the same thing. Seen a few deer, passed on a few deer. Yeah, just gotta find the big buck. I was working up this old logging road and a doe crossed the trail. I flipped the camera on and that same one-horn buck was pushing her. I was on him, but there was a bigger buck, looked like borderline shooter off to the right, and it never ran away. but he just stayed in the timber and didn't cross. I don't know. He might have already gone over the ridge. I might just go up and see if I can see him rutting around in there. I wouldn't think he would leave that doe unless he got beat up by that one horn buck. Or I could just walk up here and blow him out too. The wind is not awesome. It's just swirling everywhere right now. Let's see. Well, I just made a big mistake. And I don't know if I'll be able to correct it. I was walking up the bottom of this draw, and I saw an opening on the left, and I thought I should go up to that opening and glass this hillside across from me before I get too far up here, because I saw some does. But I decided to stay in the bottom. It was really loud. Around the corner, the buck spooked off and went over the top. So I'm trying to get across now and see if I can relocate him. It's thick where he went into. That sucks. I didn't even get him on video. He was a nice buck too. And if I would have just gone where I was originally thinking, you know when you get a feeling to do something and you don't do it and it bites you in the ass? That just sucks. Because if I would have gone where I wanted, I would have seen him way ahead of time. It is cold. Heading up the mountain. It is steep and frozen. Finally got to where it benches out a little bit. It's open on this side. I'm going to go around the back side. Pop over the knob where they went. Look into where they went into. Just a ton of timber. Oh, man. I hiked down around the base, all the way up the back side. Very high up here. What this has going for it is, I feel like they're working up to the top here. And I think that they might stop. There's a good patch of timber, but then there's also 2 pieces of burn on either side. So if they walked out in the burn, I could potentially see them. Now, I'm just going to stay in the shaded spot and just keep glassing. I'm going to find a good vantage and probably sit here for a while. And I mean, I don't know, they could have stopped on the other side, but I feel like this is a shaded hillside and they would want to bed here at least. That buck definitely took off past the does. The does hung around for a lot longer, so I mean, saving grace would be there's a pocket of does in here. The buck came over, got distracted by him. Otherwise he could be gone. But you have to look. I don't even know if it's possible to find that buck again, but I have to try. It'd be a personal best buck for me, especially public land, big mountains. Gosh darn it. It's the thing about hunting. There's certain pivotal moments and you make the wrong decision. And that's just, the vision of that buck will be etched in my mind. I tried to get it on the camera. I could have just shot it, but that is the struggle of self-filming. With these mountain whitetails, you just rarely get a second chance. And that one bad approach and the opportunity was over. You know, most seasons where I hunt, you just have to put in some serious time to actually find a decent buck. And this year, I scouted a lot preseason. I found some really good pockets of does, knowing that I had very little time to hunt during the season. And with that pre-knowledge and the time put in, a good deer showed up. And then unfortunately, I should have just glassed it from the other side. I had that gut feeling that that's what I should do. And instead of listening to my gut, I went the easier route up the bottom, and I was unable to get a shot before that buck ran off, just never to be seen again. That one decision, choosing to go the easy way and not the best way, bit me. With an entire year to dwell on my mistakes last season, I went into the hunt this year with that determination to make the best play possible if given the opportunity. Well, I just spotted a group of deer move out. There's about 4 or 5 does and a decent buck. The does fed out to the right, and then the buck just turned around and went back into the timber. So I don't know if there's another buck back there, if there's something else that he likes. I'm just going to watch. Hopefully he moves back out. If he moves back out, I can work around and probably get a shot across the canyon. But if he stays in the timber, it's going to be pretty tough. I did see another small buck down here and I've not seen it again, so that could happen as well with this guy. Well, I watched that for about 2 hours. All the other deer came out. The big buck didn't. I'm assuming he's in the stick stuff somewhere. So I'm going to hike up, rattle, see if I can draw him in. He could easily walk out while I'm going this way. There's a lot of tracks over here though. He just went right back into the stuff. Never popped back out. As I moved in on the buck, I knew he was in this thick pocket of timber, and I decided to take a big loop around the mountain. I got the wind right so I could glass into that other side, and then decided to do some rattling to see if I could draw him out or have him maybe pop out in that smaller timber. It was so thick, it was hard to see, and I knew that I didn't want to walk in there and blow him out, so I decided to sit down, rattle, and hopefully that sound would either draw his attention, get him to stand up, or maybe present himself so I could get a shot. And whether it was from the rattling or just what happened to be a hot doe running through that pocket, and maybe the reason that he didn't go out into the open on the other side, I caught a glimpse of the buck, and I just had to get up and sprint up the mountain to get a position for the shot. I'm just going to where I last saw him, where I shot. See, I had that tree, it's just right over here somewhere where he's standing. I shot, sounded like a hit, and he disappeared. Here's where he's, oh, there's blood right here. Follow this. Come back this way. Alright. Pretty good slide mark right here. It's pretty thick. There he is. Oh man, a buck down. How cool. That's a nice mountain buck. Public land whitetails can be rough and tough, man. Got a good shot on him. Looks like he didn't go far. Look at this buck. Wow. Super cool. Awesome buck. Look at this guy. Oh man. Wow. Great looking deer. Up in the mountains here, can be tough, can be hit or miss. And anytime you can get a mature buck, it's a good day. I saw quite a few deer and messed up on a few last season, and then to just come in here today and connect with this buck is pretty awesome. I love hunting these big country whitetails. Really nothing like it. It's so cool. Such a challenge, really. And a lot of people hunt whitetails all over the country, but where I'm at, it's a struggle to kill a good deer. And this is a great buck for here, so public land, awesome buck. One of my favorite personal hunting mantras is to go the best way, not the easy way. And after a year of thinking about me not following my own creed, I got another chance, and the best way prevailed once again.